Rock has figured out X's abilities. In the latest episode's final scene, we got to see while Rock was monitoring X, he said something along the lines of,
So that's how it is. Try to run, but you're mine now.
he knows X is not this perfect being anymore. He's not this perfect hero. He has imperfections, he has weaknesses, and he has this connection, this friendship with Smile, which was confirmed as soon as he picked up the locket which contained Smile's daughter's picture. And that also made a lot of people make the connection between Smile's daughter and Moon. And to that, I actually disagree. The Smile incident takes place between the year 40 and 41 AC, and Moon's death takes place in the year 41 AC, which is the current timeline. And by then, she's already in the public's eye for the past 3 years, which is confirmed in Nice's arc. And about the fact that people have been connecting them because of their hair color, let's analyze that a little bit. So, we got to see Smile's daughter's picture, in which she had brown hair. Smile has blonde/yellowish hair, so that would only mean that the mother either had black hair, meaning that yellow plus black would definitely make brown, or that Smile's daughter simply inherited her hair from her mother's side. Meaning that since Moon has blonde hair, it makes absolutely zero sense. But if that was the case, let's say for a moment that Moon is actually Smile's daughter, what would that really mean? Well, let's take a look here. In the first episode, the Nice basically is forming this fake sort of relationship with Moon. Why was that relationship there in the first place? Well, that is probably to protect Smile's daughter. Because, as we saw, Rock is now eyeballing X, so he will go for the people who X cares about the most. That might be Moon. And since we know Rock is the one manipulating E-Soul, he would definitely be the one to send E-Soul to kill Moon. That would make absolute sense, but there were some things in that scene that were negligible to say the very least, but they existed. More about that in a minute. Now, let's talk about X's powers. For a really long time, me and many fans have speculated about X's abilities. Some even said that he might be an alien. Some, like me, said that he might have space and time manipulation or reality warping powers. None of that is actually confirmed, but what was confirmed, on the other hand, by the creator of the show, Haolin himself, is that X can travel between 2D and 3D spaces. In one of his interviews, he stated that, wouldn't it be interesting to have a hero that can travel between 3D and 2D? That's the truth. That's Hero X's ability, being able to enter 3D and 2D subspaces at will, at the snap of a finger. Now, a Redditor even went so far as to say that X's real ability is the animators, and honestly, he is spot on, because even Haolin himself said something along the lines of X's strength reflects the production team's strength, which is hilarious. Because when I went into the latest episode frame by frame, this is what I noticed. There was no time warping whatsoever. The longest his abilities lasted were 30 seconds on the dot, which is funny as hell because that's how much they had the time to animate him for. And also, during that time span, during those 30 seconds, he went through many different art styles, which of course is very costly, but the thing that stood out the most was the repeated snaps. Now, I was not able to pinpoint what exactly he was doing there. It's still kind of vague to me, but what I do think is he might be just simply orienting himself to have a proper landing. But I'll leave the speculation to you guys down in the comment section. Oh yeah, I totally almost forgot about the fact that while he was busy aura farming, I was like, dude, your best friend or whatever he is to you is on the floor dying right now, and you're aura farming for 30 seconds straight? I'm like, dude, someone call Dennis. There's a new contender in the aura farming tournament. Now, Nice. Everyone saw Nice crying next to Smile's dead body, and they immediately jumped to the conclusion that in episode 1, when Nice killed himself, all of that guilt of Smile dying was simply weighing down on him, which made him commit suicide. And I disagree, because the reason why I cling to this theory that Nice might still be alive is simply because there is too much to unpack. There are too many little subtle details here and there that people are pointing out that are too big to ignore. Let's start from the very beginning. In episode 1, we know that X was present there because that whole scene was in 3D. And as we saw in the latest episode, whenever X's ability is in effect, everything is in 3D, and as soon as his abilities wear off, we switch back to 2D. Now, another thing that specifically stood out to me was that X pulled Nice out of the fight to be right next to him. He pulled him out. Why him? He could have intervened, he could have stopped the fight in any other way, because he is simply capable of switching from 3D to 2D. He could have moved Nice to the floor, here, there, but he brought him closer to himself to stand right next to him. Well, in one of my other videos, I stated that X might be forming a team to fight the main villain, and as we know now, it is pretty obvious that that enemy, that villain would be Zero, and Rock is trying to build Zero, make Zero. X now knows that, and X will now work towards building his own team. And I am not the only one who's actually stating this. Fellow YouTuber It's Jin stated in one of his latest videos that we are probably witnessing Nice and X form a partnership. Nice faking his death could be part of X's grand plan. We've already seen X move people around in the latest episode. That could only mean that when Nice jumped off of the building, he simply moved him away. He simply moved him into 2D space. We got to see him splatter on the floor, but what if that was not real? Now here's a picture posted on fellow speculator Subtext Decoder's profile on Tumblr, where he basically snapped a picture of the island where Moon was living, and right before she was killed by Esol, there were some glitches spotted, which only happens when X's abilities are in effect. And I'm not the only one who thinks Moon is alive, because think about it, if we are actually saying that Smile might be the father of Moon, that only means that X will definitely protect Moon at all cost, and this might be his doing. A coincidence? I don't think so. And honestly, it totally makes sense that if she's alive, because the death count so far is getting out of hand. Think about it. Vortex? Dead. Ah Sheng, Little Johnny's father? Dead. DJ Shindig? Dead, killed by Ghostblade. Smile? Now dead. OG Esol? Dead. Shang Chao, which was Shan's son? Dead. Moon? Dead. Nice? Dead. Come on. If no one ever comes back, if no one survives, then where is the dramatic twist of bringing someone back after they're presumably dead? Which is why I think Nice's death was staged, because maybe X and Nice had planned to bring someone new into the fray. New as in the commoner, because none of the CEOs know about Lin Ling, but Rock knows about X's abilities, X's weaknesses, so maybe Lin Ling was brought into this chess game to gain an upper hand. The question now is that what happens when the chessboard is flipped, when X stops playing defense, when he stops being this chill guy? Obviously he's going to continue to aura farm, but he's also going to do something really big, you know, form a team, come up with a plan to not only defeat Zero, but to also take down this entire corrupt system. The thing is, people have been pointing out to me that X is going to get his own story arc by the end of the season, and now it totally makes sense because X is now aggravated. He just lost his best friend to the commission or to these organizations, and now he's gonna come back at them. He's gonna go on offense. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop down a like. Make sure to also subscribe to my channel if you're interested in content just like this. Thank you guys so much for watching and liking. See you guys in another one of my videos. Until then, bye bye.